Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Over here I read anonymous stories online, so if you like listening to anonymous stories, please do not forget to like, comment and subscribe for more. I am a young lady who completed senior high school in 2017. After completing school, a nice guy named Manuel proposed to me. Manuel was really kind and calm at the time. He was 21 and trying to make things work, although life wasn't easy for him. He wasn't living with either of his parents. He stayed alone in a small uncompleted room. Even with his challenges, he treated me warmly and showed me a lot of affection. I was 17 at the time. I had been quite brilliant in school, but due to certain challenges, I couldn't continue my education. I lost my dad when I was just 3 years old, so I was raised by my mom. I'm the last of 7 siblings. Sadly, none of my older siblings were working or contributing at home. They didn't show much respect to my mom, and we all pretty much did as we pleased. She wasn't strict, she gave advice, but we rarely listened. She also wasn't working, so we all had to fend for ourselves. After completing senior high school, I was offered a scholarship by a Roman father who promised to sponsor me, but unfortunately, he passed away. That made things even more difficult, and my mom didn't push the issue further. Seeing how things were going, and with no real support at home, I made a decision to move out and stay with Manuel, hoping things would get better from there. Before I left, my mom begged me to stay with her and take care of her, especially because I was the only child at home. She was in her late 60s at the time and needed support. She pleaded with me several times, and honestly, since I was born, I never saw any of our aunties or uncles step in to help, neither with us as siblings nor with supporting my mom. There were no relatives offering help or even contributing anything to the household. Even though my mom kept asking me to stay, I was torn. I told her that if I stayed, I wouldn't have anything to eat because she wasn't working. I had to step out and work hard to survive. I told her I needed to leave and find a way to earn money. At that point, my mom was still staying in a kiosk, and I had moved to stay in a different place, somewhere I hoped I could hustle and support myself. So I spoke with Manuel and told him I wanted to come and stay with him so I could work hard and make money to take care of my mother. None of my siblings seemed to care about her, but I still felt a deep responsibility to support her. Manuel listened and said I could come over. He explained his living conditions to me, and I told him not to worry. I was okay with it. I had grown up in a very poor home, so I understood what it meant to struggle. He said I could pack my things and come whenever I was ready. I told him I'll come the next day, and he was surprised, saying it was too quick, but I insisted. I didn't mind feeding myself or facing hardship at home. Things were already very hard. I was in the village, and I had to go out just to pluck some leaves, boil them and eat them with hot pepper. I was constantly depressed. At that time, Manuel was in Accra, so the next morning I quietly packed all my belongings and left home around 5 a.m. I didn't want my mom to see me because I knew she would cry or beg me to stay, and honestly, I couldn't bear to see her tears. It would have broken me, so I left at dawn. I was using a small keypad phone, a YAM phone, back then, and I called Manuel to let him know I had left home and was about to board a bus to Accra. I had some money on me, but I still asked him to support me with transport fare. He sent the money, and I took a bus from my home to Accra. When I arrived in Accra, I called him since I didn't know my way around. He came to pick me up, and from there, we went to his house. I know many of you are curious about how I met Manuel. I initially didn't want to include that part because it would have made the story too long, but I'll try to keep it brief. I met Manuel through a school mother back in senior high school. At the time, my school mother, she was quite wild and a bit troublesome. Before I continue, let me quickly give you a short background about my SHS life. Back in senior high school, as I mentioned earlier, I was helped by a Roman father. I am a Catholic, and because I was very active in church, attending every Sunday, serving at Mass, and even involved in Sunday school, he noticed my dedication. When I completed JHS and was preparing for SHS, he promised to sponsor my education through senior high school and university. I was so grateful. When I entered SHS, he supported me fully. He provided for my provisions, paid my school fees and house fees, and even visited during visiting days with other priests, bringing food and money every month. I received money from him, and because of that, I was managing well enough, though my mom and siblings weren't supporting me financially. I was also doing well academically and socially. Teachers liked me and I had good friends. Before I got to school, some friends even helped me pack and prepare. When I got to SHS, I was told every junior should have a school mother to help guide them. I didn't choose one, but a girl chose me to be her school daughter. At first, I thought she was nice, but later I heard rumors that she was wild and had questionable behavior, especially off campus. I didn't let it bother me because I was focused on my studies. I believed that just because she chose me didn't mean I'll follow her lifestyle. I was determined to stay on the right path. We started heading to his place. The road was really bad, dusty and rough, so we had to walk quite a distance before getting there. Let me give a brief description of the house. Before reaching it, you will see tall grasses, plantains, a mango tree, and a coconut tree right in front. The house itself is an uncompleted building with 6 rooms, but Manuel lives in just one of them. It had no ceiling, no windows, only mosquito nets covering the window spaces. There was no proper door either, just small nets and wooden boards as a cover. The floor wasn't cemented, and inside there was only one chair. When we arrived, he welcomed me and helped me put my things down. He told me this is where he lives now since he left home due to issues there. He didn't have a mattress, just a quilt he lays on the floor to sleep. In that moment, I remembered what my mother had said. I realized her place was far better than Manuel's, but I brushed it off. The only things I could say, Manuel really owned were his phone and his laptop. That was all he had to his name. When we arrived, he asked me to unpack my things. I had packed everything in a sack bag, and he told me there was a spare sack I could use. I should check it and arrange my things inside. At that moment, I honestly felt really sad. I started questioning myself. I knew I deserved better. I'm not a bad girl. I'm kind, respectful, and I speak well. I told myself I wouldn't follow what others do just to get money. I did rather work hard and build something for myself. I remember the advice my school mother used to give me still. I pushed those thoughts aside and stayed focused. So I packed my things and sat in the only chair available. He asked if I wanted some water, and I said okay. There was just one sachet of water resting against the wall. He gave me one. It wasn't cold, but I drank it anyway. He asked if I was hungry, and I told him I was okay, that I had eaten a lot the night before and maybe later I'll find something to eat. He offered to cook and asked if I wanted him to prepare something. I said no, that I'll eat later. I just sat there thinking deeply about going back home, about how I ended up here. Somebody actually said, get straight to the point. And then the person is asking, did you make it out of that uncompleted house, or are you still together? What happens? What happened? We want to hear. So she now went straight into it. She said, Manuel was sentenced to 10 years in prison when I was 19, and we've been apart since. Recently, I got in touch with someone who proposed to me. Now at 25, I'm working and trying to navigate life, including some health issues. Right now, my health condition is quite complicated. Almost every month, without warning, I experience unexpected bleeding, especially when I'm shocked or emotionally triggered. I don't even fully understand what's happening to me. Sometimes I wonder if my ex might have taken me to a spiritual place when I was younger, because it feels strange and unexplainable. The bleeding usually comes with sharp pain in my lower abdomen. After seeing a doctor, I was told that my womb has been affected, and because of that, I might not be able to conceive in the future. It hasn't been easy to expect. It hasn't been easy to accept, but I'm facing it. Someone asked, what did Manuel do? And she said, to be honest, Manuel wasn't working, but somehow he always had something going on. It left me confused. I watched his routine closely. He would leave the house late at night around 11 to 12 and return early the next morning around 6 a.m. I never knew exactly what he was up to. I had heard rumors that he was a thief, even part of a notorious gang, but I didn't want to believe it. Manuel seemed like a calm and kind person. How could he be involved in something like that? Eventually, the truth started to surface. I heard he had been arrested for stealing a large amount of money from a mobile phone vendor, along with a gang. It was serious. He was even beaten so badly that he nearly lost his life. I have 3 sisters and 4 brothers. Lately, I haven't heard from most of them. When my mom passed away, I returned to the village, and later I heard rumors from the hood that one of my sisters was involved in hookups and drugs. I didn't want to believe it, but that's what they said. As for my brothers, I don't know where most of them are. At my mom's funeral, I only saw one brother who now works as a mechanic at a car shop in the village. Beyond that, I haven't heard from others. Sometimes I just feel like Well, life goes on. During the funeral, I felt incredibly sad because even my mom's own family seemed to have abandoned her. It was a heartbreaking sight. She was lying in the coffin, and I kept thinking about how lonely it was. Only a few people came to the tents and sat on the chairs. When I saw my brother, I barely recognized him, but he recognized me. He even took a video. After the funeral, he met with a man from our family to ask for money to cover the funeral expenses. My brother gave me 50 cedis and saved my number that he would call and check up. Since then, he hasn't called to check up. Sometimes I wonder if he's been so caring. Could I really be his sister? Oh, the story has left me traumatized. Oh, this is so sad. What? I don't know about the part where she said she doesn't know if Manuel took her to a spirit or something, a spiritualist or something. Maybe it could be that maybe if she had ever committed an abortion, it could be that maybe that's the side effects, because how can you just lose your womb just like that? And if he did so, don't worry, you can always pray about it. This is so sad, my heart. So apparently my girlfriend, who I have known for the past 5 years, has been sleeping with a tight friend of mine. Thanks to this spent whole week, like I wouldn't have known both of them were doing that to me. I nearly collapsed this morning at a hotel in East Legon. Humans are very wicked. Trust them at your own risks. So my best friend requested to use my car for the pent whole week because I had to go to work. I work in a popular company at the HR, so most people know me and know my car too. So whilst I was at work, another friend called me. He saw my car and my girl was standing by the car alone. So I was like, how? Because my girlfriend had told me she was going to Techiman for a friend's wedding. So I spoke to my supervisor to give me an hour to check something at home because my neighbor said something is happening in my room. I lied. I left the workplace and came to Legon. It wasn't difficult locating the car because I had a tracker on it, which I can monitor because they had moved from where my friend told me to a different place. The car was parked close to Diamond Hostel. First time seeing that hostel staff. So I also told the rider to park some few distance whilst we wait. This was around 1 a.m. So after about 40 minutes, they moved, and after waiting for 5 minutes, we followed them using the tracker. The tracker brought us to Pecan Hotel. When I got to the hotel, I knew there was no way the receptionist would show me their room because of confidentiality to protect their customers, and I didn't know what to do to draw attention. So I asked the rider to use his car to hit my tail light, which I will sort him out for repairs. After doing that, we drew attention and the car alarm went off. So the receptionist, the lady, came out and were like, we mistakenly hit the car, so who is the owner for us to settle? Because we were here to pick someone. So she was like, a man brought it, so she went to call him. And I sat in the car back while the driver waits. Few minutes later, this my friend is coming out. He got there getting angry, and while he was checking the impact of the damage, I came out and mentioned his name. You can imagine. The painful part was his pretense. I asked him straight where Juliet was, and he was like he hasn't seen Juliet, and that he picked a Logan girl at Pent Hall Week and came to camp here. While he was denying the allegations, there she was, Juliet, coming out to meet us. She wanted to meet... Yeah. She wanted to tear, but I called her and asked what happened to the wedding. Not to draw attention, I just entered the ride and told my friend to bring the car to my house later in the day when he was done using it. That was how I left the scene and went back to my workplace. This morning, when I got to the flat, I saw that he had parked the car at the flat and gave the key to the neighbor to give me when I came back. Been long, I took alcohol, but today I took some. But I've stopped because what's the point? It happens and I won't allow someone to steal my joy. The only thing is, I don't feel like going to church today. I just prefer to sleep and catch a movie. That's all I need now. Hey, them take do you fucking. I'm glad at how you've accepted it and how you decided. Don't let somebody's stupidity or their actions against you cost you your joy and happiness. That's the right way to go about it. And right now, you now be doing some foolish things and then end up in prison when they've done what they will do. There is nothing you can do about it. That's the right way to go about what you are doing. I met this man when I finished JHS. He's older. He showed interest in me. Yes, I was a minor. He's a politician. He used to give me small money here and there, takes me out and all. And the day he wanted sex, I refused. I was young and didn't do those things. He later left the country. I went to SHS and finished, and he came back again. Again, I refused the sex. This was after he had discussed about helping me with a shop. He didn't help because of this. I didn't hear from him until I was in level 300. We texted and kept in touch. So before I finished my service, I called him to tell him I needed help with a job. It was close to elections. He told me to relax. After elections, he lost. So did his party. So I don't have a job. He asked for sex and I gave in. This time I was no longer a virgin, and besides, he's a 1-minute man. Days later, I was broke and asked him for money. He said okay and sent 100 cedis. Till date, it's still funny to me. Some days ago, I celebrated my birthday. He said he would take me out. I said okay, only for him to text today and say, can we get somewhere to rest more? I told him I'm not having sex. So he said when we are celebrating a birthday, I told him to send me the money, so I used it to buy food. He bought. After the 100 cedi something, I was telling him to start giving me money on regular or something so I can help myself with it. Nigga said he's not paying for sex. I asked him if I told him to pay me for sex. He said no, and that we could have a mutual relationship. I then asked him if he's marrying me. Not that I want him, just wanted to prove a point. He said I know his reputation and he has a wife too. Then I asked him what benefit would a relationship with him give me. Job I didn't get, money to where you are being stingy. I should just come and be having sex. Won't I rather look for someone close to my age to date? That one I would know he's fucking me right. It's funny, honestly. So I have come to the end of today's video. Thank you so very much for watching. Please do not forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and see you in my next video. Thank you for watching.